let's take a look and see where you are at your headquarters.
Hey, Jack, it certainly feels like a club in Club Vivo. Listen, I know the numbers are going to trickle in very slow or crawl in very slow or walk in very slow, however they come in tonight, but it already feels like a party in here. Folks in here bobbing their head. I don't know if it's going to be a celebration or what it's going to turn out to be. They told us when we got in here, look, we don't know when the Congresswoman is going to speak. Certainly what has occurred will delay that, but it hasn't stopped folks from coming in here to find out what's going to happen tonight. They want results. This is a watch party, so they are here to watch this, and it is going to be a long night. Listen, she is a fire starter. She is a firebrand. She is sassy. She is a fighter, and that's what she claims to be and has lived up to today. Coming off the campaign trail, getting into what my peer Aaron was talking about, what Brian New is talking about, getting out there and getting into that situation with those votes, talking about voter suppression. Those are the things that she's taken on. She's taken on President Trump. She's taken on MAGA. And certainly if you don't know her for anything else, you know her for her clapback clips out on social media. She's trying to translate that into a seat in the U.S. Senate. Will it work? We'll find out by the end of the night. Back to you. I'm sending it to Amelia.
Kind of building off what Marvin just said, we are here at Austin covering the James Talarico watch party, and you can really feel the excitement in this room. It's just been electrifying. In fact, just a few minutes ago, the crowd cheered because on the screen behind me, they are following the contentious race as well as the race results, and those results clearly show that Talarico is slightly ahead of his opponent, Jasmine Crockett. So the crowd cheered just a few minutes ago, and just proving that Talarico has really had a big boost in his campaign, especially in the last month. Just his popularity has surged. Talarico pitching himself as the candidate that can turn the Senate seat blue, a Senate seat that has been in the Republicans' hands for decades. So he's really framing his campaign as people-powered, rooted in grassroots fundraising and rooted in faith, as well as leaning on his public education background, being a teacher here in Texas before being a Texas state representative. So with all that said, he's really focusing on unity and just not dividing voters. He really wants to bring voters together. And so we'll see if that all proves to be positive for his campaign tonight. We, of course, will be right here in Austin giving you all the latest developments of this pivotal primary race. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Amelia, at James Talarico headquarters in downtown Austin tonight. We want to bring back our panel as we discuss this race in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Right to my immediate right, we have Michael Williams, Republican, former Texas Railroad Commissioner and Education Commissioner, Democrat Jane Hamilton, who ran President Biden's Texas campaign in 2020, and SMU political science professor Matthew Wilson. So let's stay in the Senate race, since that was what our reporters were talking about. In the Democratic primary, we are still waiting for Dallas County numbers to come in, and that could make a difference a little bit at least. So let's talk about what Congresswoman Crockett needs to do in order to win this, because she's behind right now in the early vote. So Jane, we'll start with you.
Well, it is really still early, right, as we watch the returns come in from early vote. Obviously, we're waiting on Dallas County to come in. We haven't seen Dallas County. But what Crockett needs to demonstrate is that in Dallas County, Tarrant County, and Harris County, that she holds or is maybe even above 60%. If we see Crockett under that 60% number in any one of those three counties, that's a problem. So that's what we'll be watching for as we go through the night. So
what happens if she is above 60%? What does that mean? Then does that is that enough to put Talarico on his heels?
Well, it's interesting right now because I think we saw earlier some numbers for Talarico coming out of Austin, and again, this is early, but it looked like he was in the early 70s, right? So that means that then Crockett would have to answer that or make up for that in a DFW or Harris County area.
And Michael, if you're a Republican, who do you want to run against? Do you want to run as Talarico or Crockett?
You know, quite frankly, I think Talarico is a stronger candidate. And because, you know, Crockett has several years worth of comments that will be wrapped around her neck in a November election. And stylistically, I think Talarico sort of meets what Texans look like and think of as a U.S. Senator. I think Representative Crockett is still a little too rabid and strong-voiced for most Texans. And so if I was either Cornyn or Paxton, I'd prefer to run against Crockett, but we don't get to make that choice.
But I do have to interject and just say this.
I got to get Professor in here.
Sure. But we'll come back to that.
All right, we'll come back to that.
Let me just say on that.
Yeah.
That I think that is the conventional wisdom. That is, most Republicans nationally would say they would prefer to run against Jasmine Crockett. That said, political parties have a pretty bad track record of picking which opponent would be the strongest or weakest candidate. Democrats thought that running against Donald Trump was going to be a walk in the park. And they thought that when Donald Trump got the Republican nomination in 2016, that secured Democratic dominance for the foreseeable future.
Republicans thought running against Trump.
They were deeply wrong about that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Republicans thought that there was no way that a guy named Barack Hussein Obama was going to be elected president of the United States. They were deeply wrong about that. So sometimes what the party elites think will be the best outcome on the other side turns out not to be accurate.
But those are two examples that we see that was about expanding the base.
All right, we're going to take a break. Right, producers? We're going to take a break, and we are going to come back and talk about the Republican primary for U.S. Senate. Back with more in just a moment.